So this has been a pretty big week for news surrounding the UFC. We've had Dana White come out recently and announce that the UFC are having another pay-per-view event in England. And obviously this week Dana White announced the first Saudi Arabia card that the UFC have ever done. And this is it on screen right now. So I'm going to react to it. And there's another story I want to talk about at the end. So stay tuned for that. So overall, this Saudi Arabia card, it is a fight night. I thought they might have put Islam on, considering the guy has shown an interest in wanting to fight, and they normally like to have like an Islam or a Khamzat. Some of these Russian fighters headline these cards out in the Middle East. But anyway, overall, this fight night card is absolutely stacked. You've got Magomedov, which is the parrot guy with one eye, just for those who don't know, versus Putiera, who was a former light heavyweight. He did fight at middleweight in his last matchup, which was on short notice. Can't remember who it was against, although I think he won if I remember correctly. But Sharaput and Magomedov should win this matchup pretty comfortably. I'm expecting them to get a finish, maybe in the first or second round. Then next up, you've got Johnny Walker versus Volkan Oezdemir. Now, this is just a really fun matchup at light heavyweight. Johnny Walker has kind of went away from the style that made him so successful, in my opinion. But he is training out, well, he lives in Northern Ireland, but he is training down south at SBG with John Kavanagh. He is coming off that loss to Ankalaev though, and Volkan Oezdemir is coming off a win. I just don't think Johnny Walker's chin is going to hold up in this matchup, to be honest. I think Oezdemir is a lot more durable, and I feel like Oezdemir is going to catch Johnny Walker in this matchup. I think my early prediction for this matchup is going to be an Oezdemir KO. I think he's going to be able to knock out Johnny Walker. However, Johnny Walker's finishing ability as well. This guy is also a finisher. So either way, this is a fun matchup. It's going to be a great watch. Someone's getting finished though. This is not going all 3 rounds, in my opinion anyway. Then next up, you've got a really interesting matchup. One I'm really looking forward to. Kevin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Now, Kevin Gastelum obviously just lost to Sean Brady. He did make his way back down to welterweight, and that is where this guy is obviously looking to stay. Now, obviously against Daniel Rodriguez, he won't really have to worry about the grappling as much as when he was fighting Sean Brady. However, Daniel Rodriguez, especially his jab, he's got a really thudding jab. And Kevin Gastelum, in my opinion anyway, I don't think he looked great in his last matchup at welterweight. I thought he looked a bit slow. However, he was facing a really top contender in that division in Sean Brady, and Sean Brady just dominated him, to be honest. But I am going to pick Kevin Gastelum to win this matchup. You know, I think he's going to be able to beat Daniel Rodriguez by decision. I think he's going to be able to really mix up the grappling a bit in there. And just, I don't know why, I've got a gut feeling that Gastelum is going to win this matchup by decision. And then we go on to the co-main event, which is a sick matchup. Sick matchup. And Sergey Pavlovich versus Volkov. Now, question. Almeida versus Volkov was seemingly announced for UFC 302 in New Jersey. And then a couple of days later, Volkov is fighting Pavlovich in Saudi Arabia. So I don't really know what's going on. But one question I want to know is, where the fuck is Ciryl Gane? Why is this guy not fighting one of these top contenders? Someone needs to get an answer out there why. Curtis Blades has told everybody that he's ducked him. Tom Aspinall has told everybody that he's ducked him. The guy apparently just wants to fight for the belt. He's just beaten Sergey Spivak. Why the fuck would you fight for the belt after you've beaten Sergey Spivak? Why? Why would you fight for the belt after John Jones, the fight before that, absolutely smoked you inside a round? Ciryl Gane now has really fucked his whole career up by sitting out for so long. Now it's more than likely the UFC are going to give him to Almeida. Now, granted, Almeida is not as good as what everybody thought he was. I did predict Curtis Blades to beat him. Exactly what happened. However, there's a lot of holes in Ciryl Gane's game, and I think the style of grappling Almeida has will give him an awful lot of problems. However, on the feet, there's nobody that can really match Ciryl Gane, in my opinion, at heavyweight outside of Tom Aspinall. I think Ciryl Gane's striking at heavyweight, the movement he has is just leaps and bounds above everybody. I like Ciryl Gane. I like his fight style. But what the fuck is he doing? Like, why? I just don't get what this guy's doing. But anyway, in terms of this matchup here, Volkov, I think, can offer Pavlovich a lot of problems. I think Volkov is one of the most underrated heavyweights currently on the UFC's roster. However, I am expecting Pavlovich to find the KO against Volkov. I don't know when. I'm going to say late second round. I think it's pretty competitive. And then bang, Pavlovich cracks him. No more. Good night. Then on to the main event now, which is Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev. Now, if anybody remembers, if you've been like a subscriber to the channel for a while or watched any of my other videos, this is a matchup that I had said I wanted to see in 2024. And we're getting it. And it's 5 rounds, which is what needs to be happening for Khamzat Chimaev. Now Khamzat Chimaev is probably the greatest first round fighter we've ever seen in the UFC. This guy just dominated Kamaru Usman, 10-8'd him in the first round. However, in the second and third round, I feel like that matchup should have been scored a draw. Robert Whittaker is coming off that win over Paulo Costa. But Whittaker, in my opinion, I don't think he's on necessarily a decline like everybody's saying. Obviously, he did lose to Dricus du Plessis, which nobody really predicted. But Dricus du Plessis is just freaking nature. I mean, nobody expects this guy to win, but he wins. A weird fight style, but obviously carries a lot of power. And Khamzat Chimaev does carry a lot of power. I do think Whittaker is becoming a bit chinny. However, I feel like Robert Whittaker will... I think he'll get dominated the first round. That's my prediction. I think if Khamzat Chimaev is going to finish Robert Whittaker, I think it's going to be in the first round. I don't see him finishing him later on. I think Robert Whittaker is going to have a tough time defending the takedowns of Khamzat Chimaev. Now, in the later rounds, I think Whittaker will have a lot of success against Khamzat Chimaev. And in my opinion, right now, I'm going to pick Whittaker to win this by decision. I feel like he gets dominated for the first round. For the first half of the second round, I feel like it's going to be a tough matchup for him. But then I feel like Robert Whittaker is going to be on the outside, just picking apart Khamzat Chimaev as Khamzat slowly just decreases. We see it in every Khamzat fight. The guy kind of slows down. But normally he only has 3 rounds to go. So he dominates the first round, wins a bit of the second round, then loses the second half of the second round. Third round he loses. But because he's done so well in the early stages of the fight, he wins. He does not have that safety net in there against Robert Whittaker. In my opinion, Whittaker is going to get dominated the first round, have a tough second round, but then is going to be able to stuff Khamzat Chimaev's takedowns, stay on the outside, pick him apart with that left hand high kick. I think Whittaker is going to win this matchup by decision. And next, just a last wee snippet in here to talk about. Bang, rumoured rematch happening, UFC 302, Sean Strickland, Kamaru Usman. Now, a lot of people are saying this matchup makes no sense, which, fair enough. But you've got Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev happening now. You've got rumoured Paulo Costa, Jared Cannonier at 302. Then you've got basically confirmed... Wait a Mitchie. Then you've got Adesanya versus du Plessis, obviously, is the direction the UFC is going to go. So that leaves Sean Strickland out. So... are you going to put him against Roman Dolidze? No. Are you going to put him against Marvin Vettori? No. Who are you going to match him up against? Kamaru Usman. Makes sense in my opinion anyway. I'll tell you why. Kamaru Usman arguably should have beaten Khamzat Chimaev. And for Sean Strickland, I actually had a good point there. I just fucking forgot it. Let me see if it's going to come back to me. Anyway, let me just go on about this matchup. So Sean Strickland has obviously lost to Kamaru Usman. That was a welterweight. Sean Strickland is coming off that controversial loss to Dricus du Plessis. As I've said, the landscape of the middleweight division, it's kind of looking already booked up. So why not take this matchup? If Usman is making it clear now he wants to fight in the middleweight division, then why would you not, if you're Sean Strickland and becomes available, would you not take it? Usman is a pound for pound great. A lot of people think he beat Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I'm saying why does Strickland not take it? And this point kind of contradicts this argument. So for Strickland anyway, it's quite clear the UFC don't want to give this guy another title shot yet. So this matchup is kind of a lose-lose for Strickland in my opinion. If he gets beat by Kamaru Usman, he is fucking a million miles away from the title, right? If he's able to beat Kamaru Usman, then Kamaru Usman isn't really a middleweight, is he? In my opinion, I'd much rather see Usman down at welterweight. However, if this is the move he's going to take, then fair enough. But it's kind of a double-edged sword. So if he is to beat Usman, Usman's not a middleweight. But then you could say you've beaten Kamaru Usman, who's one of the greatest of all time, arguably the greatest welterweight of all time. Plus, it evens the score between these two. Now, stylistically, I don't really like this matchup for Sean Strickland. Usman's already beat him before. However, a lot of people think Usman's washed. That's going to be a video by itself, me talking about that. For Usman, this is a win-win. You beat Sean Strickland, the former champion, you're right in line for a title shot. If you lose to Sean Strickland, you go back down to welterweight. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Khamzat Chimaev situation for Usman. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of contradicted myself whenever I was talking about that match. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I really had a good point thought in my head and I completely fucking forgot it. Sorry. So now I'm just having to really think about what I've just said there, and I've kind of contradicted myself. However, what else does Strickland do, really? Is he going to fight the winner of Chris Curtis or Brendan Allen? Well, he's already beat Brendan Allen. He's not going to fight Chris Curtis if he wins. So he's not going to fight Marvin Vettori. Well, he could have. I think this does more for Strickland than the Vettori win, in my opinion. I think Sean Strickland is kind of at that point now in his career where he's going to be basically involved in just big fights. He is one of the biggest stars the UFC have now. Strickland's only going to be involved in big fights now. And this is a big fight. Now, in terms of who he wins, I'm probably going to have to go for Usman right now. But, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup. And I'm looking forward to the Saudi Arabia card. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this Saudi Arabia card? What do you think about this potential rematch happening as well? And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It does really help out. And I'll see you again in the next one.